Se avete mai usato Waze, è uno dei navigatori più belli da utilizzare, molto fumettoso, ci sono le caramelle da prendere, ci sono le pattuglie della polizia che vi rincorrono se qualcuno le segnala. Through the application. And Carlos is gonna run you through the application for a couple of minutes, and then we will have a little chat. You can address him on Twitter with @cargomore, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Grazie. Buongiorno a tutti. Sono Carlos Gomio oggi in Milan, che noi andando a San Siro, ma sono molto felice di essere oggi con voi. So, mio italiano è molto torpe, so voy a parlare in inglese, okay? So, how many of you came today by car? 1, 2, 3, okay? 4? More than, all right. How many of you are Wazers? All right, so decent amount of you. So today is a really great day for Waze in Milan because it's a very messy day. I was just checking the map right now, and there's like millions of alerts, closures, things going on in Milan. So it's a really bad day for driving. So those of you with a car, go back with Waze because otherwise you're gonna get stuck in the middle of the city. So today, by the way, congrats again to Chris. Amazing, amazing, amazing job. Yeah, like I think they're bringing a very innovative solution to a big problem, as we were saying, that is navigation, right? Like people want to go places, and people need to find the right place, and people want to go as fast as possible with no problems, right? And so they're solving the find the address, we're solving the how to get there, and making it a happy journey for you. So that's why I want to talk today about, for those of you that know Waze, I want to tell you more about what we do. And for those of you that don't know Waze, so you will become Wazers and you will become part of the community. Because I think that's a really important part of the keynote is how we are doing this together, how we are a community, and how we're like connecting the cities and the citizens and the world just together as a community. So I want to start saying that traffic is very dumb. Burro, la palabra. Today's traffic is really bad. This is San Francisco, Silicon Valley, the Olympus of technology where everything works very well. Well, this is a normal day in San Francisco. If any of you have been there, this could be 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., pretty much any hour of the day. Traffic is stupidly bad. One person, one person, one person, one person. Many cars that are almost empty, just one person driving big cars. This is America, so it's big cars, creating traffic problems, right? So this is bad today. Even in the best places in the world, it's still really bad. Best in terms of technology, blah, blah, blah. But things are about to change for good. Change for good, I mean, driving or not driving or moving, it's gonna get easier, it's gonna get smoother, meaning you won't need to actually get to drive, spend time. You can talk to other people while you are moving. Things will come to you instead of you going to find your car. You don't know where it's parked, or it's parked far away. You don't find parking. All those small day-to-day issues are gonna disappear. So things are about to change drastically. And in some cases, as you can see outside, really drastically. So this is actually a real model of a flying car. It's like a mix of a drone and a car. It works. And this is, some people say that in the next 10 years, we will start to see some flying cars. Obviously, not all the cars are gonna be flying, but some will in some areas. And this is unbelievably exciting because that will mean you can go even faster. But really, one very important thing is for all of this to work, we need great hardware, we need great infrastructure, we need great software, but we need a map, a digital platform of maps that makes sure there will be many different places where the flying cars could go, or the self-driving cars could go, and you want them to be optimizing the routes, you want them to go fast, you want them not to crash with each other. So for that, we need the platform. And that's what I want to talk to you today about Waze. So for those of you that know Waze, you might think of Waze as a traffic application where you get alerts from speed radars, police, or you might think about it as navigation. So you can use Google Maps, you can use Waze. Waze is much more fun, better, but you can use Google Maps, no problem. But Waze is much more than that. Waze is pretty much a crowdsourcing platform. So like Wikipedia, we are like the Wikipedia of traffic, where we gather all drivers in the world that are part of our community, are contributing data, are contributing information to the platform, so we know what's happening in real time. That is a really important thing, is the real time. But with all of that, we're not just collecting the information, but we're actually making it intelligent. We are adding a lot of algorithms, a lot of data analysis to really get the summary of all that data and put it in a way to the market that makes us create some impact. And we will talk about impact at the end, but this is a really important thing. Collecting data is not enough. You need to make things with the data. That means analyzing, that means sharing, so we can, impact the world and reduce traffic, which in the end is the goal. So I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm in the middle of everywhere, so I'm going to try to let you see. So we are global. We've been in Italy. Actually, Italy was the first country we launched. Oops, thank you. In Europe. Actually, Italy, for some reason, we don't know yet, so if anybody knows the answer, I would love to hear, was the fastest growing market for Waze ever. The first year of Waze in Italy was crazily successful. It grew a lot, and today is the second biggest country in Europe. Milan is actually the third biggest city after Paris and after Rome. So Waze in Italy is being very successful. Still, we have a lot to grow, but it's been very successful. And the reason it's successful, I think it's because Italians in Italy, but in general, like Italians are very social. So I think whenever you know of something, you talk to others, you share with others, and I think that's probably one of the reasons it got very popular here. So it's in real time. You find there's an accident, there's a traffic jam, there's a police control, there's a speed camera. Any of these things you can locate, you can track them in Waze, and we are collecting all that data and put it on a map. So if you just want to get navigation, you'll get the fastest route at any time of the day, alerting you of the big things happening in the road. But maybe you don't need that navigation, you just want the information. Or maybe you're not a driver, you're just a co-pilot, and you just want to guide the driver so he doesn't get mad. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But the most important thing, we simplify all this information so you don't need to worry about what's going on in the road. And more information will allow you to drive smarter, safer, happier. So how this works again, crowdsourced, we have 50 million active users. So an active user is any of you turning on Waze today. You become an active user because we will be tracking anonymously, but we will be tracking where you are and the speed of your moving. So with that aggregated, we get a good traffic flow map of any street, any corso, any avenue in the world. And the really important thing is the community. So we have these 50 million people using us, that's part of the community, but we have these almost 400,000 volunteers, and this is phenomenal. This is people that are dedicating a big part of their life or of their day-to-day for free to edit the maps, to contribute data, to train other people, to change, imagine for today's game, they're going into the map and closing the streets that are closed. If suddenly there's, the Atletico, the Madrid fans go crazy in that street, they will go instantly and edit the map to show that the street is closed. So in real time, we have these 400,000 people, like Wikipedia does, updating what's happening in the real world. And that's a real magic. I've had the chance to meet them in person a few times, some of the top volunteers. And that's one of the great things that the internet has created, is people contributing to the world in a way that we could not believe before. So this is just a summary of the different types of editors, of volunteers that we have. The global champs are the ones that I was referring to. These people dedicate 8 to 10 hours every day for free just to edit the maps. In exchange, they get this sense of fulfillment of doing something for the world, and that's just beautiful. It's not like we are helping you to save time on traffic, but these guys are just making their life better, and that is crazy to me, but it's great that we have it, right? So the other really important thing besides the community is the hyper-local development. Who knows who that is? Someone that doesn't know? Okay, Marco Mengoni. Marco Mengoni. So Marco Mengoni is a big pop star here in Italy. Any fans of Marco Mengoni in the room? I'm looking at teenagers. No teenagers here. There's a teenager. So, for instance, we have many examples, but one example of a local development we launched last month, the Marco Mengoni voice. So the navigator of Waze was Marco Mengoni. He'll be with his voice singing to you like turn right, turn left with his songs. I don't know them very well, but he'll be doing that. So that's something that for Italians makes a difference. Maybe other people would prefer Berlusconi, other people would prefer Beppe Grillo. We don't judge. We just try to cater, whatever local needs or interests are, right? Another one, for instance, and this is more serious, is speed limits, right? So every country, every region, every city, every segment has different rules on speed limits. And for a driver, this is very confusing. And most times you're getting a lot of speed tickets because you don't know if it's 80 kilometers, 70 kilometers. We know many times they're changing it, they're making it confusing. So we starting 2 months ago, we added a speed limit. So anytime you're driving in Italy, you will have the exact speed limit. And if you're exceeding, we will let you know instantly. So that is actually getting a lot of great feedback because people now are starting to get less tickets because of this feature. Sounds crazy that we couldn't have that before, but now in real time we can have that. Some other GPSs had it, but if things change, they take like 6 months to get an update. Now here, if things change tomorrow, for pollution reasons, they might change the speed limits. Well, you get the information instantly. So those are some examples of the hyperlocal development. But today, the bulk of the keynote, I want to talk about the partnership. So we've worked with the community. We've tried to create the biggest community of drivers in the world, and we have it. We gather more traffic data in real time than anyone else, any other application. But if we keep it to ourselves, we are not going to really make the big impact that we want to make. And Waze is a very mission-driven company. Google bought Waze, as many of you might know, 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago. But the good thing is, like, we remain independent in Google. We have our own mission, and we have not changed much from there. So now we can continue building on that mission, but within Google. That helps us to scale at a bigger level. So that's the reason why the partnerships are really important. Partnerships are all free, absolutely free. We never monetize the data. Are free data exchanges. So what it means is whether it is broadcasters or mobile developers or cities like authorities, the Agenzia di Mobilità, the Ministry of Transportation, we share our data with them in different ways, so it's easier for them to manage. But we share the data with them so they can start making actions, making impact at the local level with this data. So this is for us the way to say, now that we have the community, let's create other communities so all together, not just the drivers, but all together can really make an impact on eliminating traffic or congestion. So the 3 examples, and I'll go through, quickly through this. I'm happy to speak with any of you after the keynote about this. But the Waze for broadcasters, this is a phenomenal tool that we built for the broadcasting traffic on TV or on the radio or on websites. So you have on this iPad application, any TV station. We have actually talked to a few stations here in Italy. So maybe soon you'll see it in the news. So the anchors, the same way they report the weather, they can have the iPad with a live map of the traffic today in Milan, and in real time they can show an accident, closure of a street, construction, anything that is happening, they can show on TV. This is free for them. Why? Because we want them to talk about traffic, to talk about Waze, obviously, and we want people that see the traffic news to think of, after watching the news, the only way I can eliminate traffic for me is using an application, because otherwise, whatever the TV tells you, it doesn't suit your specific journey. So only a mobile application can solve your problems. Traffic news, they talk about the big roads, the big highways, but not your specific journey. We launched this 2 years ago. We have now more than 170 partners, so very, very successful program. Again, all this is for free. This is our competition charges a lot of money for this. We obviously get attribution. That's our game. We want the community to get bigger, and that's why we do this for free. But the goal is also just to get more people to learn about traffic. So CNN, Fox, many in South America, Latin America, Europe, it's been less successful, but in the next few months, you'll start to see some. The second program is Transport SDK, and this has been something we launched 4 months ago. This has been super successful. So for any application in the transport space, so transport of people, like taxi companies like My Taxi, Uber, for any company delivering food, or for any company delivering parcels, like things to your place, this is a perfect solution for 3 reasons. First, because these companies are really good at many things, but not at navigation in particular. So some of them have to spend a lot of money to develop their navigation. We offer that for them for free, and they get Waze navigation, which you could argue, but it's one of the best navigators out there in the world. The second, we give them the real-time traffic, the best journeys. So with that, their drivers, Chris, thanks for the fact I didn't know, but 1 less mile for a UPS driver means $50 million saved. So you can imagine if we help them drive a little bit faster, every Lyft or 99 taxis driving every single day with Waze, they will save around 5 to 10 minutes. And 5 to 10 minutes is a couple of miles, and that means a lot of money. So for this company to get their drivers to use Waze means saving money, saving time. For the drivers, they make more money. And for us passengers, we save our time, which is great, and money as well. So that's the second reason. And the third is they can use the data. So we give them the data back. So if your driver, let's say Lyft is the biggest Uber competitor in the US. So if Lyft's drivers are using Waze, we give them the data back on the navigation so they can start optimizing routes, and they can start doing heat maps to understand where there is more demand, where are the best routes to take. So with that, they can start making their business better. So this is something we open up for a few partners in January, but now we're starting to open to any mobile developer in the world. So if you are in any of these categories, parking, or many others that are not necessarily transport, you're more than welcome to talk to us and get the SDK. Again, it's free for any mobile developers, so you can focus on doing other stuff, doing your core, serving your passengers, and not building navigation platforms. Obviously, we get a lot of attribution as well, which is what we want in the end, get the community to be bigger. And finally, the Connected Citizen program. This is really the gem of our programs. Like, a year and a half ago, we got a call from Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro is a very, very innovative city, and also because of the Olympic Games and because of the World Cup, they had to develop a much better infrastructure to make transportation in the city better. So we got a call from Rio de Janeiro asking if any of you have been to Brazil. You know, Waze there is huge. It's super, super popular because traffic is a mess. Waze is very successful. So in Rio, they called and say, we need your data to understand how traffic works so we can reduce traffic in Brazil, in Rio, because it's very messy. As a result of that call, of that relationship, we thought that maybe there was an opportunity to create a program for any city, any traffic authority in the world, and we did it. And that was October 2014, so a year and a half ago. And in that time, we already got 70 partners. We got Los Angeles, we got Rome. I was here in Rome 2 weeks ago. We signed Rome as the biggest connected citizen partner in Europe. So that's a big, big deal for with Agenzia di Mobilità. Now they're using our data to manage traffic in Rome, and I'll give some examples. But we got some of the most innovative cities in the world, like Rio de Janeiro, Boston, Los Angeles, New York, many of them, and 70 partners already worldwide. But the really important thing is focus on the impact. It's not about just having good names to show on the slide, but actually to make impact. And to make impact, you need to share data. And the kind of data we share, Waze shares data with the municipal partners like Rome. Like, what is the speed of the segments? What is the volume of cars? What is the incidents that are happening? And in exchange, or not exchange, but as a result of this collaboration, the partners will share data with us on the next construction that is happening, demonstrations, events, closures, all that data, so we can put it on the map. So any of the 4 people driving here today can actually get to see that and not get stuck in traffic. So in the end, it's making the community bigger, adding more data. And what can the partners do with this data, which is the really beautiful part? There are 3 main things they do. First is they integrate our data, the Waze data, which you all build, in their systems, in their traffic management systems. The second, they use this as a communication channel. So for the city to tell you that that street is closed, how can they do that? They can make a big TV advertisement or send you emails. Those are not things that the administrations do. So with Waze, they can give us the data, we put it on Waze, so any of the over 300,000 users of Waze in Milan every day, they will get it instantly, so without doing anything. So that is a communication channel for them. And the final one is analyzing Waze data. And I'll go quickly through some examples. I don't want to get into a lot of detail, but one example, this is the city of Boston. They use our data to understand what are the worst segments of Boston where there is more traffic at some times of the day. They use our data to understand that. Once they understood that, they change the traffic lights. They change the time of the traffic lights to see what was the impact. Well, it resulted on 18% less traffic month of month. So if you see here, from May, June, July, August until October, they reduced 20% almost the traffic in those segments, which is huge. We don't have the number in terms of cars, but that is a lot of cars, a lot of hours on a monthly basis. So that happened because they now have the data that before they didn't have. So with that, they implemented a project for the whole city to reduce the traffic lights time. So huge success there, huge impact for the Boston citizens. The second one, this is Genesis Pools. It's a big company in the US doing emergency dispatching. So the ambulance, the police, the firemen, fire departments. This company manages the information on where to go, how to go, so you can get faster and save lives. So they implemented Waze to understand where are the incidents happening, because we know in real time where there is an incident because somebody's telling us exactly now there is an accident here. They started using our data, and the very, very shocking thing, they reduced the ambulance time, imagine, to get to an accident by 4 minutes. And you can think 4 minutes is not too much, but I bet if you were the one in the accident, you could say, it saved my life, and literally that's what they're saying to us, like they have managed to save lives. And this sounds really big, like very beautiful for a keynote, but it truly saves lives. So it's like a good example of how using technology, using better navigation, it will allow them to save lives, just saving 3-4 minutes on every incident, right? So this is a huge project that now we're trying to expand into many other countries. And again, this is all free data for them. And finally, this is a good example from Rio. Wow, sorry, I don't know what happened there. But Rio de Janeiro, very easy to understand. In Brazil, they have elections go in 2 rounds. So you vote first on one Sunday, and then the 2 winning parties will vote again in 2 weeks, right? So this is the results of traffic in the first round. This is the areas where traffic was terrible, because in Brazil it's mandatory to vote. So everyone has to go to vote, and they normally have to go to vote wherever they grew up, which is a different area of the city. And if you know Rio, Rio is huge. It's a very big city. So they use our data to understand what were the worst parts of the city with traffic. These were okay, these were so-so. So the next round, with this data, they implemented traffic people. They put the policemen directing the traffic. So this is the result of traffic on the second round for the exact same day, exact same kind of traffic. So they completely fixed the traffic on that day. And that's something that now they're using for the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games. So they will know on day 1, day 2, day 3, what is happening with traffic, so they can replicate and fix it for the rest of the Olympic Games. So again, very simple examples, but again, this is impact for the citizens, which in the end are who we work for. So that community, what's left? So I told you, we are not just about traffic or navigation or making an impact to reduce traffic. We're already thinking about the future. The future is changing a lot, as we saw with flying drones or flying cars, self-driving cars. So things we are doing, experiments we're doing to go to the next mile is first the Waze Carpool project, which I don't know if any of you read about this. We launched this as a pilot in the US 2 weeks ago. This means now we have 50 million drivers driving every day from one place from home to work, and from work to home every single day. And as you saw, most cars are empty. So we're just matching these people and say, hey, you live in the same neighborhood, you go to the same work location more or less, why don't you share the ride? This is something that people have done historically in many different ways. We're just simplifying with technology. And by the way, you don't pay the driver. You just share the cost of the gasoline and share the cost of the, driving the car. But it's like maybe instead of paying $20 to go with a cab, you pay $1.50 to get from home to work, right? And then we reduce traffic drastically. So that's one experiment. The other one is Waze in the car. So instead of using your application, Waze lives in the car. So that is a project with Android Auto. Cars will have operating systems, and we will be part of the car.